Welcome back on the AM show. Now, it has been raining heavily in some parts of Accra. My stretch pelted with rain. I'm sure your stretch as well. And you know, it poses quite a lot of hazards when you have to drive through those. Sometimes trees get felled and all of that. But what has been the picture in your community, your neighborhood? You can share via social media. Join News on Facebook with us. Any pictures or videos you have to share. And when we activate the phone lines, hopefully at the end of the show, maybe you can share with us as well what the picture has been in your community. Hopefully not like we are seeing in other parts of the country. But joining us to give us some perspective on what we can expect by way of the rains over the next few days and maybe week, we have Raphael Boachi. He is manager of the Kotoka International Airport Meteorological Office. Raphael joins us for a conversation. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Mr. Boachi, we're grateful that you've taken the time, busy as you are, to join us on the AM show. The rains are hitting hard again, and of course, all of us are concerned on the back of the things we've seen across different parts of the country. But what would you say is the pattern we are in now? Should we expect more rain, and how heavy can we expect the rains to be?
Thank you. Good morning to your viewers. Beginning of the year, we came out with a seasonal forecast where we invited most of the media houses. And then we announced that we expect above normal rains, above average rainfall, especially for most parts of the country, except some few regions that's to the western side, around the Bono and northern parts of the half regions, that we were expecting some normal to below normal rainfall. But for most parts of the country, we expected above normal rainfall. And that's exactly the picture we are seeing. What we are in now is what we call the minor rainy season. Not minor in the sense that it's not heavy or it's not torrential, but minor in the sense that the period within which it rains, like the season starts from September and ends in November. That's September, October, November, especially for the southern half. The northern half of the country has a different pattern of rainfall. It has a rainfall of what we call the unimodal, beginning from April, May, June, July, and then August, September. It peaks actually in August, where we, in the southern half, talking of regions like Volta region, Eastern region, Ashanti region, Ahafo region, down south to northwest, the western north region, as well as Greater Accra and Central region, and then Western region. We expect these regions to experience this September, October, November rainfall, and that's what we are seeing. It's still going to be heavy. We are not out of November yet. We are just entering into November. I mean, we are on our way to enter into November. And once November has not been exhausted, we still expect such heavy rainfall.
Now, like you've mentioned, and as we know, this is the shorter rainy season, but it's the heavier one. But heavy is relative. Year on year, heavy can take quite a turn. How heavy has the rain been so far, and what can we expect as we get into the eye of the storm, so to speak? Because we know that as time wears out, it gets even heavier approaching November. What can we expect in the next few days and maybe till the end of this month?
Yes, to the end of this month, let me go back to the definition of the heavy. We have a measure for a rainfall event, which we have between 8 millimeters and 20 millimeters of rain per hour. We expect that to be a heavy rainfall. And that is exactly what we are experiencing and what we still expect to occur. When you have a whole day rainfall, as a 24 hours rainfall, we expect our 100 millimeters of rain to call it a heavy rainfall. And that is exactly what we are having. Most of the stations we have now from Volta region, our stations there, and then stations in Ashanti region, we are recording above these 8 millimeters of rain for an hour. That is what, therefore, we term them as heavy rainfall. None of them is giving us slight rain, though sometimes we have slight rain and sometimes we have moderate rain. But most of these storms that track over the eastern flanks of the country across to the western portions, they are all bringing in heavy rainfall, and we still expect it to continue. As I speak to you right now, there is a moderate storm, a moderate to heavy storm that is still lurking around the eastern flank of the country, around Lomé. Now it's around Lomé, and we expect that in an hour or two, it should be in the Volta region to affect certain places. And then later in the afternoon into the evening, we expect it to move through the eastern region and then later to the Ashanti region. So that is what we are expecting today. And then the storm that we experienced last night, that one actually moved from the ocean. That one is as a result of instability of the ocean, which caused the atmosphere to be saturated through the night hours. And then we experienced its rains this dawn. We still expect places around Cape Coast, around the central region and the western region, especially the western north regions, to experience heavy rains this morning. As I'm speaking to you, they are in the rains. And then later in the afternoon to move into the Ashanti regions, as I've mentioned earlier. So that is what we are expecting for the day. In the coming days, we still expect rains, especially as we move into the weekends. The office which gives this forecast, these public warnings, is the Central Analysis and Forecast Office at the head office, and they came out with an outlook for the week that during the weekend we still expect some rains, and so we still expect places within the southern half, as I mentioned, to experience some rains as we go into the weekend. Whatever the update is, the media house, especially Joy, will be informed so that the public will also be kept in the know.
My final bit to you, can you pinpoint particular areas where the threat of flooding is the highest? You've mentioned regions, but we all know from where you sit, you know that when the rains hit, these areas are most affected. On the back of the nature of the rains we expect, is there a warning you could send to people in some specific areas in certain regions?
Well, I honestly do not have the data now, and I wouldn't want to commit myself mentioning areas which I might probably get it wrong. But I don't really have the data right now here. But low-lying areas, as we experienced over the years, these areas, as the areas like Jolu areas in Accra and Circle areas, we still expect such places to easily get flooding, especially when you have the drains being blocked. You still expect such places to be. But I don't have a general, specific data here to give to you. Maybe in subsequent interviews I can provide that.
And that's perfectly understandable. Thank you so much, Raphael, for joining the conversation. Raphael Boaji is manager, Kotoka International Airport Meteorological Office, and he joined us for this conversation. Well, stay with us because we have a lot coming your way up next on the AM show. Of course, we still have the hackathon, that collaboration between the Ghana Statistical Service and Statistics Denmark for those 5 tertiary institutions in Ghana. Bernice Abubeidu Lanza is on hand to tackle that conversation. Up next on the AM show.